Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I am Mark. That's Ryan. Hi Ryan.
Hello.
Let's talk about a movie that came out 2 Fridays ago. I think no, it came out last Friday.
Just last Friday.
Just last Friday. Oh my God, just a few scant days ago. You and I saw it a couple weeks ago in IMAX. F1 the movie, as they're making us call it because F1 owns a trademark.
Correct.
So Brad Pitt, journeyman driver, once the golden boy, travels around place to place, picking up rides where he can and winning a lot, but he's that guy. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
We get a little bit of everything with this one. We get a little bit of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of Ford v Ferrari. We get a little bit of Rush. We get a lot of stuff in here. And it is when the racing is on, it is action packed. Would you agree?
Yes.
How did you feel about this one? What were you expecting this to be? Because a movie like this could go a lot of ways.
Sure. I mean, I guess because of the pedigree, you were expecting, Top Gun Maverick was, particularly the flying elements was such a rush,
Right.
that I guess you're expecting maybe not quite up to par, but close to that.
Yep.
Just simply because flying an airplane is a little more adventurous than driving a car, regardless how you look at it. So yeah, I mean, more than anything, that it was. You kind of go into this sort of film and you hope the story's okay. I mean, the sports genre in general doesn't give you a lot of options.
True.
Uh, so unless it's a true story, then you get a little more, because then it's a little more unpredictable. But
Yeah.
saying as this was not based on anything specifically, I just wanted some great racing,
Yes.
and an okay storyline that didn't get too much in the way of said
Great
racing.
racing.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. That's fair enough. And yeah, there's every sports movie, regardless of the sport, has its tropes. You accept those, just like you accept horror tropes, just like you accept science fiction tropes, and you just hope that they're able to dress them up in a way
Yeah,
that
that's it. Yeah.
that's palatable.
Yeah, and I think it might actually be the most closed-in genre. Maybe romantic comedy would give it a run, because you only have so many options. Either you're the favorite or you're the underdog,
Yep.
and you either win or you don't.
Yep.
I mean, that's it's really quite limited,
Yes,
in that regard.
that's true. So let's talk about it. Brad Pitt, Damson Idris as the young hotshot rookie driver. Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem plays the owner of the team, who used to be a teammate of Brad Pitt back in the day.
Yeah,
when they were both hotshot racers.
and neither of them. Well, I guess he panned out better than
He didn't
Pitt's
abandon
character,
the
but
industry so much as evolved his place in it, whereas Brad Pitt's character Sonny, we know there was an accident. We learned that early on, and then after that, he just kind of got stuck for lots of reasons that we examined throughout the film. Kerry Condon is the first and likely only female design engineer in F1, working for Javier Bardem, designing their cars. She used to work for NASA.
yeah, she's a rocket scientist.
She's literally a rocket scientist. And then Damon Idris is Joshua Pearce, like I said, the hot up and coming rookie, but he is a young driver who just thinks it's about putting your foot down and going fast. And Brad Pitt is this old school, not necessarily team player kind of guy. But he's stuck in a place where, and if you look at NASCAR, you feel like it's a guy in a car and the guys that change the tires. I mean, really, that's what it feels like. There's a
Yeah.
little more to it, but you look at F1, and F1 has, like, every race team has a freaking NASA behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They've got engineers and software designers and data analysts and communication people and, statistician. I mean, and just all of this crazy stuff. And then you drop a guy who's used to getting in the car and driving, like Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
which he does very well.
But it should be said he's very smart about cars. Like
Yeah.
he knows he may not be the scientist, but he has the practical
Yes.
aspect.
Yeah. He understands. He's not quite Ken Miles from Ford v Ferrari,
Yeah.
but he's probably more. He's probably more Carroll Shelby, who is he understands cars, but he's not an engineer either. He's a designer, car
Yeah.
maker, car
Yeah.
driver.
Yeah. Well, he can tell you how it feels and why it doesn't work. He just can't tell you what to do to fix that.
Right. Or if he can, it's not, he can tell you, but he couldn't do the math.
Yeah.
He goes, it needs to do this, but I can't tell you how exactly that design works. That's what Kerry Condon is for. So we get this nice teammate / mentor mentee / adversarial relationship between the two drivers. And we get, they're trying to save Javier Bardem's team, or save him from losing his team because they can't win a race. They can't finish a race. They can't win a race. They can't score a point. And so Sonny is brought in to just try to save that for another season. So there's a lot of interpersonal dynamics. There's a lot of professional dynamics. There's not so many of them that they overwhelm the racing, which is good because the racing scenes are incredible. I didn't realize, I read somewhere or I heard somewhere that not unlike shooting Top Gun Maverick, they worked with Mercedes-Benz, who was designing the cars, to mount 16 specially built cameras on the cars so that they could get the shots they wanted. To design the car to hold the cameras, not just to be a race car, but to hold cameras. So, it's like when they figured out how to put 6 or 7 IMAX cameras in a cockpit for Maverick.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's ludicrous, but the shots they get are really impressive.
Yeah.
So I think from a technical standpoint, this film is really well done. I think the story is what the story is. It's going to develop the way it develops. But it's enjoyable. Brad Pitt's he's enjoyable here because he's kind of old Hollywood, not like old Hollywood 50s old Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's like old Hollywood now in this age of digital filmmaking, in this group of people that are all, we're just going to shoot this on our iPhone 16 in 8K with, and we'll do all this other stuff in post, and he's like, can we just jump up there and say the lines and, action cut? So there's a lot of parallels there. I did like the fact there's a couple scenes in movies where you feel the difference between Brad Pitt as an F1 racer 30 years ago and getting in these freaking video game cars.
Yeah.
With you're in qualifying mode, but don't tell us what that means. But you understand it's not where he's supposed to be in the car. And that's a software setting for the car. It's crazy. So the separation between car and driver, even though there's so much more data available, it still comes down to the guy with his foot on the gas and his hands on the wheel. So there's a lot of cool things when you think about it from those aspects that I really did enjoy about it. A lot of the nuance of the racing, and we talked about this. The racing noise is very impressive.
Sure.
But I felt like it overwhelmed the cockpit to crew communication sometimes. And they're talking important stuff about the car. All that nuance kind of gets lost. and that's sad.
It's way over my head, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. I mean, so for me, did it bother me? No, because I wouldn't have come. I mean, there's the basics. Although you try to get me to explain to you the difference between soft wheels and whatever wheels, and
right.
and I could maybe tell you, but not to the point where I would sound remotely educated. So there is, but none of the technical jargon type stuff really gets in the way of really what the film is about, which is purely racing
Yes.
and learning to work together as a team. Again, this is another sports trope that even in I guess a sport where it is often viewed as a one man versus the rest of the, it's interesting that F1 is, well, I guess a lot of racing, because you do have the racing teams.
Yeah.
And that I, if you're an outsider, you don't really know much about, and I consider myself in that area, but yeah, as an outsider, but there is a little more team interplay
Yep.
than some other single player sport type things. Anyway, but I thought it was really good. I think it's as good as it could be, not being based on a true story
Yep.
and being a sports film that had to do all the sports things.
Had to check all the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it actually it was terribly entertaining. So it's good. I'll definitely watch it again when it's either streaming or if I have a free day to go back to the theater and
Yeah.
see it on a big screen again. It
It was
was
pretty.
impressive in IMAX.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was pretty cool to see an IMAX with there were a couple times where the speakers really did rumble.
Yes.
And so it does make me wonder if there's a D-Box version out there that might be to me D-Box is idiotic for most things, but for this film it might actually be fun.
Yeah. Well, that and
This might,
Maverick probably would have been good.
yeah. So I mean, there's certain films where it's like, okay, that might be a good idea, but as long as they work it in really well. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. Um, yeah,
Yeah. No, so there you go. So it is in theaters right now. F1 the movie. It is in theaters right now. Yeah. If you can see it in IMAX, see it in IMAX.
yeah. The biggest, or if you can get settle for a Dolby Atmos or something, because the sound mix does play into it a little bit. But yeah, I think IMAX is your best bet on this one all the way. There's even though you're stuck in a cockpit, that doesn't mean that there's not a lot going on and a lot to look at.
Yep. Fact. Fact. So there you go. We got more movies to talk about, which we will be talking about until we talk about those. Don't forget to like us and follow us on social media. Go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. It's got links to all the written stuff, all of the audio stuff, and the video stuff if you care. So, share us with your friends if you like what you hear. Let us know how we're doing. And until we talk to you again, be good, stay safe. I am Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you, friends.
And we will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.